Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. With me is your host, Ben, and I'm Hank.
Oh, you changed it up.
I mean,
Got him.
Why
They're gonna think it's a whole different podcast.
Got him.
It's not Salt Circle. It's Salt Circle. They have the same first letter. Or sound. I don't know what I was thinking.
What?
I was gonna switch
Welcome
them around.
to the bean pile.
Welcome to the pod. I guess something. I don't know.
Welcome to Ben's bean pile.
Welcome to Bean's Ben pile. You never know.
Dr. Atheus's
card jumboree or whatever. We're talking about Mel Brooks today. Mel Brooks films. More than well, I'm sure Mel Brooks as a person will come up, but mostly the films.
Seems pretty great. Yeah. Yup. Mostly Blazing Saddles.
Largely, it's going to be like 2/3 Blazing Saddles and 1/3 other films / things / rambling.
He made other things, right?
Yeah, supposedly he'd made a couple films.
Mm-hmm. So, since you're our host, Ben,
you did this on purpose. I see your plans now. What was my? my introduction to Mel Brooks was definitely Spaceballs. That was the one, and it was good stuff. Even better at the time because I'd never seen anything I'd seen some spoofs and stuff before, I guess, but at the time, and I was like, I don't know, 12, 13 maybe, something. It was fucking amazing. It was great. I was 100% in, and I don't know, at some point then saw Men in Tights. I was like, I'm still in. This is great. And then I think, I don't know, I just kind of left it for a while. I didn't go seeking more films out. I knew there were more. I just didn't go looking for them.
Yeah, didn't go deep.
Yeah, and then I don't know how old I was, but I'm like, I want to start watching more Mel Brooks stuff. I know obviously those two films are solid, but I want to expand more because I hear things about his other films. He seems like a reasonable dude, has some good stuff. And I started with The Producers, and it was a movie. It definitely was a film.
I think that one works better as a play.
Yeah,
That's what it originally was.
It might have been a combination of not being in the right mood. Maybe I should have sought out some weed first or had some drinks or something. I don't know. It was okay, but
It's got Springtime for Hitler.
Yeah,
which is a pretty good joke.
What?
But
I can't. What's the movie with? It's still Mel Brooks. It's Rome. They're in Rome or something, or History of the World Part 1. That's it. And then it transfers. Okay. That's. It's been a while since I've seen it's been not a huge while, but it's one of those things where it was just the memory of it is fuzzy for various reasons, or fuzzy-ish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
that
was also
one I haven't seen in a while.
That was pretty solid. And somewhere in between there, I just thought of it now that I couldn't think of. I thought of it in the fact that I couldn't think of the name of it. But before that, I'd seen Blazing Saddles. That was fucking amazing. That movie is great. What a film. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So, that's my brief experience, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So my standard, I'm not sure what I saw first, but the first one that mattered as a thing I really cared about was Young Frankenstein, which I loved.
Yep.
For the first time. And then Spaceballs was one I came to a little later after it being overhyped for me,
Sure.
and I honestly found it a little disappointing. I just don't think the jokes come fast enough in that movie. That's
Okay.
probably
Yeah.
probably my biggest thing.
Yeah, like
Um,
I think it might rely too much on just like it being a general joke. Like it lies too heavily on like, oh, it's Star Wars, but it isn't, and it just gets lazy because of it. Maybe something.
yeah, and they're just like it's like the I feel like the opening thing it does of the really long ship scrawl is like, which is like that Family Guy style of just have a thing go on too long. That's funny,
Mm-hmm.
and it just doesn't. It's not snappy enough for me.
That's fair.
It's like, yeah, that was an okay joke. You're gonna, no, it's this is still going. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right, I get it. But there are plenty of good jokes in that movie. And then I saw Blazing Saddles and loved it. And then I saw, uh, then eventually I saw High Noon, which is like the western that Blazing Saddles draws a lot from,
Okay.
and is one of my favorite movies since I saw it. And then I loved Blazing Saddles even more because it really understood that movie and took a lot of the best stuff to like the big thing is that church scene in Blazing Saddles. They're talking about
Yeah.
how to get rid of their sheriff. There's a scene that exact setup is taken from High Noon, kind of.
Okay. Is
But
High
it's
Moon
in a
another?
little
Is it another like comedy or is it like
No,
an
it's a
actual
straight.
western?
It's an actual straight western.
Okay.
Is really that they're parroting basically.
Gotcha. I'll have to check that
Starring,
out.
starring Gary Cooper. It's one
Okay.
of my favorite movies. But yeah, Blazing Saddles is fucking great. And one of my favorite stories of about Blazing Saddles is like when my mom first watched it. She was like not sure how much she liked it until it got to the scene where they were all eating beans and farting,
Yeah.
and then she
Yeah.
just couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah. That is.
It's like, yeah, this movie, it's got all these good social commentary. It's really smart and funny,
Yeah.
but
That is.
sometimes it's just really dumb, low hanging fruit. Is
Yeah.
just the what gets you. Just they're all farting.
Yep. No, that like might be my favorite instance of like toilet humor of all time. Like just suddenly, and I like when I watched it over the weekend again because my brother had never seen it, so we were going through it. I had totally forgotten that was a thing, and as soon as that shot hits, I'd just like, oh, here we go, and it's just great.
It's just a purity to it.
Yeah, it's real. Cut straight to the, cut straight to the fart of the matter.
Ha ha ha.
No, but that's it's good stuff.
Yeah, but that's a movie I think about, like just dumb lines all the time, like the cut them off at the pass thing. Is I hate that cliche. I just love. There's so many little jokes in there that are just so good.
Yeah.
Although I will say the end of Blazing Saddles where it breaks the fourth wall into the pie fight.
Yeah.
I think it's funny, but it feels kind of like a like a cop out ending of just like, oh, this is happening. Whereas
Yeah.
when Young Frankenstein, when it does the fucking dance number at the end, that's like elevates that movie. I feel like Blazing Saddles is just great, and its ending is just another good joke. Whereas Young Frankenstein is like good and then gets great at the end.
Okay. I think
It's how I've come to think of them.
I mean, are we gonna go all in on Blazing Saddles now, or do we want to like pull back and discuss the other films first?
I mean, we should just go on Blazing Saddles because that's
Okay.
what I care about.
Okay,
so.
that's fair. People only need to listen to like first 2/3 of the podcast. No, at that end scene when what's his fucking name? The main antagonist. I can't. Headley, right? And, like when he walks out of the bathroom and just mouths like, "What the fuck?" Like that is so good. Just like the quiet. Oh my god, it's probably one of my favorite parts of that film as well.
Yeah.
That
I love the joke about them not wanting to get sued over his name being too similar. The Headley Lamar, where he keeps having to say it's Headley. Is like, I love that they actually did get sued over that.
Wait, get sued over it for what? What am I?
There was an actual, yeah.
That'll do it.
Fucking Headley Lamar is like what is it? I can't remember her name now. But there's an actual actress whose name is very close to that.
Okay, so that's why they kept having him say it's Headley or whatever. Okay. That makes sense.
And then they did but they just kind of paid. They were like, yeah, you're right. It's like, they weren't, it was like they liked her too much. They were like they weren't into, they weren't going to fight it or anything. It was just funny.
I don't know. There's something also about that movie where you watch it and you're like, there's no way in hell that this film gets made today. Like, when they're having ideas about how to run out the town, the guy's like, we'll run through and beating the shit out of them and raping them. Like, you can't, like, you probably not say that in a film. Someone's probably not going to let that happen. Or like when they're recruiting all the people and it's like, you said rape twice. Well, I like rape. Like, there's probably, you might be able to, but I feel like there's a lesser chance of that being allowed into a film. But in Blazing Saddles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mel Brooks built a brand, and he has had a career establishing to be able to make a movie like that. Basically, you can't just
that's fair.
Some Joe Schmo can't just do that. No. But like Mel Brooks, who is Jewish and gone through all this other stuff, he can make that movie. That is the. It's one of those he earned it kind of thing, and you feel, and he handles it well, and you feel safe in his hands kind of thing. And and the other writers he had on his staff.
That's true. That's a good way of putting it. Like, you feel safe. It's Mel Brooks. I feel safe with him making rape jokes. When he says it, it's okay. I guess the flip side of that argument is that Black Mirror literally started out with a guy fucking a pig. So,
not making a strong argument for me to watch Black Mirror, Ben.
Okay, maybe just watch Black Mirror, but not the first episode. That is what I told my parents. Gonna be real with you guys. Just don't watch the first episode. Mom's like, why? Now I want to watch it. I'm like, you really don't. It involves a pig. It involves a dude. You hope it doesn't happen, but it does. Just don't watch it. She's like, won't I miss any of the story? I'm like, nope. Totally episodic. Just skip it. And they did. And everyone was happier for it. Except for them knowing that I watched it. But, yeah. They also, I don't know, you were talking about your mom watching Blazing Saddles. My dad will go all in on it. Not all in, I guess. He's one of those people who just complains about what's on TV and then watches it anyway. But cycles through channels and hopes that it change. That's that whole deal. So if I'm watching, I
used to live that life.
Great. Oh, you're the worst. Yeah, but if I'm like watching Mel Brooks or anything really, like he'll come in and sit down and watch it, and if he doesn't like it, he'll say so, but that won't stop him. But he'll like Mel Brooks. Like he rolled in when I was watching Blazing Saddles, and this was like after Christmas. Like I'd just gotten the Mel Brooks collection. I was like super stoked to watch it. And he rolls in and it's like just before the farting scene. Like he laughed so hard he cried at it. And like it was great. Meanwhile, my mom is in the kitchen like that sounds like something stupid as hell. And I'm like, "No, it totally is. Like you'd hate it."
I mean, yes. That scene is the dumbest, but it's amazing.
No, it was fantastic. Yeah, that just I don't know. As my mom calls it, just stupid guy humor. Like she would lump in Mel Brooks films with like Anchorman or something. Like it's stupid guy humor. I'm like that's sexist, but you're not wrong.
Yep. Fucking. There's interesting stuff about that movie, like how originally Richard Pryor was gonna play Sheriff Bart because he was one of the writers on it. But,
Okay.
But interestingly, he didn't write any of. I don't think he wrote the Sheriff Bart parts. Like most of the jokes he wrote were for Gene Wilder's character. Also,
Okay.
it's a weird thing. It's also just weird because the Cleavon Little. I can't think of someone else playing that role. Like he's so fucking good in that movie.
Yeah, no, it's weird to it'd be weird.
He's just so
perfect.
cool and perfect.
Yeah, he's very suave.
Oh, like the scene where he goes like, where he's like tricks them, and then he's like, "Oh, you are so good, and they are so dumb."
And they are so dumb. That's so great. Like that whole thing. Just, I have heard. I guess I thinking on it. I don't know that I've ever like looked it up to confirm it. Possibly because I don't want it to not be true. I have heard that the guy who sang the theme song for the film was under the impression that it was a serious Western film. Like, that it was truly a honest-to-God Western, and he put his heart and soul into this theme because he enjoyed those films and wanted it to be good, and then he saw it and he hated it because it's not a fucking real Western at all. And, like, you know, in that sense. And I have no confirmation of this, but I want it, like I'm just gonna assume it's true until I'm told otherwise, because it's fucking amazing. So now even when the theme song comes on, I just laugh. 'Cause, like, poor guy.
Pretty. I mean, that kind of stuff works better if it's genuine, right?
Yeah.
You gotta believe it.
They didn't have to like tell him to pretend. He just naturally put his heart and soul into the song so they could like fart on it later.
Yep.
Oh. Also, I think I've been thinking like this whole time about what my absolute favorites in that movie are. I think my favorite joke is the weed bit with Gene Wilder when his voice goes up like 3 octaves. Like that's amazing. And over the weekend I actually, when I was watching with my brother, totally forgot that he had the second, like, you know, when he leaves he's like, "Good luck." Like totally forgot that existed and just caught me off guard. It was amazing all over again. But I think my favorite line is the in the beginning when the guy rolls up on his horse and calls him a bunch of Kansas City faggots. And it's just delivered so well, and it's such a great line. Like it's I don't know, rolls off the tongue. It's fun to say. It's offensive, but not like
It's pretty.
I guess it's pretty offensive. Yeah, people still aren't really on board with faggot yet, I guess, but in the right crowd, I suppose. Which is either people who know the line or homophobic rednecks, I guess. I don't know. It's still a great line.
Yeah, I don't know my favorite line. I really like when Mongo punches that horse.
Yeah, when it just goes down.
It's pretty good. I also like, but I shoot with this hand. uh, See that? Steady as a rock. But I shoot with this hand. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, where the white women at? It's pretty good. He's pretending to be.
Yeah.
Uh,
Where the
man. So many good lines. As much as I diss the pie fight, that's the guy handing out pies for the great. Get your pies for the great pie fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, a lot of good lines.
I bet you thought that we were gonna go for an episode without me having some sort of Crump anecdote, but you were wrong. You're wrong. So, at my friend Mike's house, mutual friend of me and Crump, we got talking. Mike, it was one of those situations where I never partook, but anytime I was over at Mike's, in fact, I think anytime like he can swing it during his existence in this life, Mike is just high as balls. Like, maybe not in public so much, but like if he is in his home and there's not some level of professionalism going on, like hand him the bong. So I don't know. We got talking one day about Blazing Saddles, and he's like, I mean, what are you doing for the next 2 hours? Nothing. Okay, so we're watching Blazing Saddles, and I'm like, that's a fucking great idea. Like that's always a great idea. And Jeremy was like, wait, what? Or Crump, Jeremy, real name, doesn't come up much. He's like, wait, what? Or like Blazing Saddles, like the Mel Brooks film. He's like, I've never even heard of it. So, we're both, okay, well, you need to fucking see this. Jeremy fell asleep like 20 minutes in and just never woke up. And didn't care. Just dumped all over the film. Just didn't care at all. Like, okay, like, whatever, like, watch it some other time. And he's like, it's like, it only seemed okay. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to do it.
Just a point in the movie's favor, as far as I can tell.
Why that Crump didn't like it or didn't see it? I mean, you're not wrong.
He didn't like it. That makes it better.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why I initially hated Rogue One. Rolls out. I think it's my favorite Star Wars film. Okay, well, that explains my feelings on it pretty well.
Oof. That's rough. That's the roughest thing I've heard anyone say about that.
I mean, maybe I take
it.
We should. We got to test the theory though. Like maybe I take him to Wrinkle in Time, and we see what he thinks.
I mean, that just sounds like a waste of 2 hours.
What if he really enjoys it though? Then I paid.
Okay.
Then I suffered.
But that still sounds incredibly boring. Because my problem with that movie is that it's boring.
I mean, if it gets boring, it shouldn't be a problem for him. The man played Pokemon through Harry Potter in the theater, so I'm sure he'll find a way to suffer through it. Anyway, yeah, that's my Crump anecdote for for Blazing Saddles. He does really like Young Frankenstein, though. That much I know. That was like, I think he's seen Men in Tights and Spaceballs because like. I feel like if people have seen Mel Brooks films, those are the most likely to. Or at least for certain, like, I don't know. Maybe it varies by, like, age group or something. I don't know. I feel like everyone I know in high school, like, saw those two. And then it was hit or miss if anyone had seen any of the other ones. But,
yeah, that's fair.
yeah,
That checks out. History of the world would be the other one.
Okay.
I think, but
I definitely, I guess I've heard of that one. Like I hear people, like, obviously I'd heard of it, but I hear people talking about it, I guess, slightly more than the others. though for a long time, for an embarrassingly long time, I thought History of the World was a Monty Python film. Like, because like when people would talk about it, at whatever, until a certain age, like people aren't talking about fucking Mel Brooks' History of the World. They're just talking about History of the World. I'm like, okay, like I'll just roll with it. I knew it was a comedy, and for some reason in my head, like, yeah, like Holy Grail, okay. But then like Meaning of Life, like History of the World Part 1, like, I don't know.
Ugh.
It went on for, it happens sometimes.
Kids are stupid. It's fine. It happens.
I mean, I was like 16 or 17, but like,
Kids are stupid. I stand by my statement.
yeah, you got me there.
Yeah, I didn't see Blazing Saddles till high school.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, it was one of those. Friend was like, "Yo, you gotta see this. you gotta watch this. We have to watch this now."
Yeah, no, that's how I am. Like, if I find out someone hasn't seen it, it's like, no, go on.
Yeah, I don't know. It just was one. It was one of my holes. It was one of the movies I just hadn't happened to see at that point, I would say. For sure. Although I fucking love Young Frankenstein, but
yeah, I need to. If no services that my family have it, I'll have to just like acquire it by less legal means. Yeah, as I was telling Hank before we started, I tried to go through Young Frankenstein because that's like the most distant Mel Brooks film that I can remember. Like, but it's so vague because it was so long ago, and I saw it when I was pretty young, and I remember enjoying it, but a lot of the specifics are just totally lost. And I have it. I have it on Blu-ray as part of the Mel Brooks collection. I have no fucking clue where that whole thing went. So it's somewhere. It's definitely somewhere, or someone has it. I just don't know where or who or how or when or why.
Have you ever watched any of those Frankenstein movies? The actual ones it's parroting?
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen any of those in full, but I think I've seen enough of different ones to like.
Yeah.
I've read the book. There you go. I read the book.
In the books, it's kind of a different thing.
Does he have an existential crisis at any point?
The big one for me is like how much the scene with the priest is just in Bride of Frankenstein. Like how much of that is just there with the blind priest.
Okay.
It's just like, it's just kind of, it's just one of those things. Cause I saw like when you encounter the parody first, like I did for Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, it's a weird thing when you go and see the original and see like how much was there already. Like how like they were drawing it out and making it punching it up a bit, but like the core is just there.
That is 100% how I felt after seeing the original like Sean Connery James Bond films after watching Austin Powers. Like, yep, this woman's name is Pussy Galore. Like, this is a thing, and holy shit, this is great.
Have you ever seen Airplane?
Oh, fuck yeah, I've seen Airplane. Oh.
So have you seen 0 Hour, the movie Airplane is based on?
I've definitely I know I probably should. I've read about it. Like I know that it was a thing, but
yeah, we should do that podcast because
just
that movie
ridiculous.
it's crazy how much is there. And it's crazy because 0 Hour is crazy because there's stuff in there there's like particularly one thing that was too ridiculous to put in the parody.
Oh my god.
Like they had to just leave it out of Airplane.
Okay, so I guess I don't even know. I know of it. Was it like taking itself seriously? Like, was it?
Yes,
trying,
it's a
was
drama.
It like it's like The Room?
It's a drama,
Okay.
and the stuff about everyone who ate the fish got sick, 100% from the movie.
Yeah.
That's like the major thing.
Great.
And there's like,
Fucking-
yeah, well, whatever. We're gonna do that podcast. That's gonna happen.
I mean, what do we got like. Is it past St. Patrick? When's St. Patrick's Day we can do? Or no, that might work better for like an April Fool's. No, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll call it the 0 Hour Podcast, but then we'll just watch The Room again. April Fools.
Good joke.
Classic joke.
Could always watch The Room again.
I keep
gets
trying to
old.
like. I was gonna say it earlier, actually. Like, if Blazing Saddles comes up with someone and it turns out they haven't seen him, like, you need to fucking see Blazing Saddles. Also, have you ever seen The Room? Now that we're talking about it, like I mention it now because I want to share the experience with people. So they're like, those are like my go-to. I guess I don't bring up Airplane much because I just assume that people have seen it because most people I know have seen it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the classics of that kind of movie. Although it is one where it's like it's totally based on that movie. Like they were gonna try it like when the writers who wrote that movie I'm wasting material for the other podcast. It's like completely based on 0 Hour, basically. It's like they're line for line stuff taken out of it, and just it's one of those like I never hear anyone talk about the source material. That's like completely forgotten.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just so it has a weird place historically, whereas like the most famous Mel Brooks movies that are direct parodies of movies like Spaceballs,
Yeah,
Young
no,
Frankenstein, like
it
you
pulls,
know
but-
the source material is still known. It's still in the public consciousness.
yeah.
Although
That'd be a fucking weird day if people are like, "What the fuck is Star Wars? You mean Spaceballs?" That would just be that's a universe I don't necessarily want to ever be in.
yeah, I will like there is a weird thing among nerds of totally overrating Spaceballs. Like that's a huge problem, I would say. I've encountered like Spaceballs got like an animated series well after the fact, just because like nerd affection for that movie was so high. Just because hey, it's a Star Wars parody.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like it's just because it's Star Wars. Like fucking slap
not-
Star Wars into it somehow, and like
Yeah,
though that did have the line that I don't know. I guess in a way told young Ben all he really needed to know about Mel Brooks, like when they're like, funny, she doesn't look Drewish. I'm like, oh. Wait, what? How? How is nobody like upset about this? And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, eventually learn that it's Mel Brooks.
yeah.
You can have the Native Americans speak Yiddish. It's
He
fine.
can do that. I mean, he can do it himself.
Yeah,
Not having someone
I
do
guess,
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess for that he is the only one who speaks. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Spaceballs does have the combing the desert joke, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's fucking. I think that's the
that's
best
a
scene
good
of that
joke.
film.
That's a good joke. Fucking dumb giant comb. Also, the joke where they look at the tape of the movie to find out what the.
Oh yeah,
That's a-
when's it happening?
that's a-
now, sir.
It's a good. And like, the dark helmet thing is funny enough. It's just like there's not enough. The movie doesn't go enough when you're like watching it as a movie.
Yeah, no, there's
Can't.
there's like the dull moments. I don't know. I guess I also never really like the stuff with yogurt. Like, it's fine, but I never really enjoyed much of it. I don't know.
I feel like it
That whole
doesn't,
thing felt slow.
like, the jokes that are in it are just good jokes and don't necessarily tap into what, like, I love about Star Wars, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles completely tap into what's good about those movies.
Yeah.
Like, the movies it's parodying. Like, it has a better understanding of the material it's drawing from.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein were released the same year. It's fucking insane. That's unfucking. That shouldn't happen.
It's a double tap rule. Let's go with double
fair.
tap.
Like, when you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah. When you're not, you're not.
When you're not, you get Dracula Dead and loving it.
Oh dear. Don't talk to me about Dracula. I'm reading Dracula.
I mean, it's just
I
not.
don't wanna, we're not
It's just not
discussing.
that funny.
That's good. 'Cause Dracula's not that good.
Ever seen the Spanish language version of Dracula? That's better though. That they shot at the exact same time as Dracula.
No, I mean I'm talking original novel. Like I just don't think it's good
Oh, the book.
at all. Yeah, I mean, okay, it reads fine. It reads fine. Jonathan Harker is a fucking unaware pile of trash. Maybe if the town, like, honestly, it makes for a good, like, we watched Nosferatu in class, and that, like, it seems like a parody almost. Like, fucking guy reading about how vampires are evil and, like, all this other shit that's pretty on the nose. And then in the book, like, townspeople fucking, like, well, I caught some random words, so I looked it up in my polyglot dictionary. They translated to things like Satan and death and hell. And then they all signed the cross at me. And a lady gave me a crucifix to wear. Like, okay, I'm just going to get on the coach. Then we're going down the road, and, like, all these blue fighters are appearing out of nowhere. All right. And then the coach driver returned, and there was a shitload of wolves surrounding the coach, but he, like, holds up his hand, and they all just go quiet and go away. Yeah, fine. I'm sure this isn't anything. Like, he sees, or I suppose doesn't see, Count Dracula in a mirror. Like, Count Dracula is standing behind him, and he's actively not showing up in the mirror, and he is still like, yeah, I guess this isn't normal. Maybe something should be done. But, like, it's just the amount of nonsense that he endures is fucking absurd. Like, it is far funnier than it is scary, because I'm like, any rational person be like, yeah, maybe, like, okay, it's what, I'm trying to think when it was written, like 1800s, 1700s? When was Dracula written? I think 1800s. You know what? Long enough ago that superstition was definitely still a thing. But also, maybe if everyone is saying a specific place or individual is, like, Satan, maybe just don't go there. Like, maybe there's a reason, even if they don't know what the reason is. I don't know. The whole thing
It was written in 1897.
Okay.
But,
I mean, so, just...
I don't know. You haven't, like, there's plenty of stories of people delving into darkness because, like, for whatever reason. It's like a staple of horror.
Okay, but like diving into darkness, like, what's the reason is important. This guy was trying to fucking sell a house. Like, he was a solicitor. He says that in the book. That's all he was trying to do. Oh my god. If you're, like, trapped somewhere and, like, you're trying to explore, I admire that more than Jonathan Harker. What a pile of garbage. So, in a way, it's sad that a Dracula film wouldn't be funny, because the source material certainly has enough. And in Nosferatu, it's just fucking awful. Like, he actually, like... And, I mean, it's a silent film, so you're not hearing any of it, but, like, yeah, one night, like, looks at a book in the inn on his way to go to Dracula's place, and it's, like, talking about the vampire and death and hell and all this other shit. And he like kind of laughs and like shuts the book and goes to bed. Wakes up in the morning, sees the book, looks it over again. Literally just does the thing where he like raises his arms up like he's stretching and just throws the book across the room and laughs about it. It's I'm just so, you know, you want funny source material, there you go. All right, I'm good.
Yeah.
Ranted about.
I don't know. I think the best the best Dracula is Christopher Lee playing Dracula. My favorite detail about when he played Dracula was in movies he would read the script and decide it was too terrible for him to read, which is why Dracula doesn't talk in a lot of those movies.
Okay.
He just never says anything. He just like hisses and
That's okay. I mean, I'm not all the way through the book, but like the two things that surprise me and Nosferatu. Have you ever seen Nosferatu, or do you know like?
no,
of it
I've
at
only
least?
seen parts of it.
Okay, so you know what the vampire is like though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you know, you think of vampires as like I don't know, I guess more modernized ones, like faster, like charming, eloquent, that sort of thing. Like in Nosferatu, it's none of that nonsense. But in the book, you know, like
He looks kind of like Igor.
yeah, yeah.
Persona.
In the book, like, you know, he's a charming dude. He's not unseemly. Like he's strong and he's cold. Literally, his skin is cold, but you know, he's still well spoken and intelligent and all of that. But the one thing that I know, I don't think it's in the Christopher Lee version. It's certainly not Nosferatu, and just in any stereotypical Dracula like merchandise or poster, looks or anything, he has a big ass white mustache. Like it says frequently about this like bushy white mustache, and I'm like, what? Why is this never like? He's always clean shaven and everything. So, you know,
true.
anyone looking to do a parody of Dracula, remember to include like a giant ass like handlebar mustache, or like I don't know, the big like a big waxed like I don't even know what the style is called.
I mean,
twirly,
the monster
twirly.
in Frankenstein isn't described the way that thing looks in the movie.
I mean, also, yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, no, I mean those early, those aren't the first film versions. Those are the first like talkie film versions, or like
first talkie version.
yeah. Well, there were silent film versions of like all those movies, but it's like the ones where
the
they
first.
added dialogue that are the iconic Universal monster movie stuff. It's just like those movies are like the cultural touchstone. Like people just the books aren't
Yeah.
they don't matter anymore. Although I'd say Frankenstein is a pretty important book.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd agree.
I think
Like,
it's like
the thing
I think
that
it's kind of
what?
it kind of like set the tone for what like young adult fiction became, I would say.
I could see that. I will say that Mary Shelley uses the word ardor way
Ardor.
too often. Fucking like every page. That's all. That's the main thing I noticed because it was so frequent. Just I don't know. She saw it in a dictionary recently or something and was like, "I'm gonna use this. This is my word of the decade, I guess." I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'll also say Dead and Loving It. Not great Dracula parody. Also, not a great use of Leslie Nielsen. Just that dude is great, but like him acting camp and over the top is not his. Not his strength.
No. He needs that subtlety.
He needs that
or
playing
like playing it straight.
playing it straight, but saying ridiculous things and being in ridiculous situations. Because I am.
What is the? I forget the exact line. In is it Naked Gun? Nice beaver. Fucking hands down a stuffed beaver. Like, it's just unreal.
Yeah, I don't remember which one that's in.
I know
Naked Gun movies are good.
I know it's a Naked Gun. I think
Yeah.
it's in the first one still. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was Those are good times. Those are, I don't know. I guess I lump that in with Mel Brooks. Like it's Mel Brooks and then like some of Leslie Nelson. I always forget.
Leslie
But
Nelson.
Nelson. I mean, I'm just gonna take your word on it, and then if I'm ever wrong, I'll explain that you told me. So
Leslie Nielsen.
okay, so I was right, and you're a piece of shit. Good job, me. We did it.
Way to go, Ben.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I think some people. I definitely okay. I shouldn't say I think. I know some people personally who lump Monty Python in there as well. I just don't. I just can't do it. It's too different, I think.
Their movies aren't direct parodies of any other movies.
I mean that as well. But just even in tone, like I don't know.
I mean that's why that's the reason I lump those movies in is that they're like movies joking about movies. Like it's like that that Ouroboros of movie joke telling of that's like they're understanding this genre of film and making fun of it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like Monty Python's just out there doing weird. They're just doing their own weird thing, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it's the meaning of life.
The cop-out ending in Holy Grail, like, that actually bothers me to a degree. I think the best I've ever enjoyed it was when I was watching... my brother had also never seen that, so, like, we sat down and were watching it, and I was under the impression that he had just, like, never seen the film before. He straight up didn't know, like, anything about the film before. So it gets to the cop-out, and he's like, what the fuck was that? And he was like, he was actually upset about it. Like, he was pissed. So naturally, I'm like, this is the best this scene has ever been. Like, we're in top form right here. This is the secret. So that was great.
That's pretty funny. That's weird. Because my biggest problem with Holy Grail is people won't, and I can never escape going a certain amount of time without hearing people quote it. Or like, it's just like, come on, guys, there are other movies.
Yeah.
And it was, it's funny.
We watched it in high school. It was pretty, it was, I mean, like, literally in high school, like, for a class.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It was, like, weirdly divisive.
Huh.
Like, I don't know. And at least, there's, like, different periods or whatever. So, like, everybody had whatever level of English, but some people had it different hours. In my, like, individual class, which Crump was also in, like, we thought it was funny, and this is our first time ever, like, going through it, and, we had heard about it at that point, but, I thought, like, we were laughing, but, like, and the teacher was laughing, because obviously, like, she enjoyed it, but, like, nobody else was laughing. It was kind of awkward, but I think in other classes, there was definitely that subset of people afterward who, just, like, constant fucking quoting Monty Python, like, that was their introduction into a sad world for the rest of us, anyway. Kind of that weird girl hipster crowd. I don't know. I assume that every school has that, but
it's always fucking Holy Grail, and
it's always Holy Grail, and I think Meaning of Life is better.
No, I don't like Meaning of Life. I think Life of Brian is better.
Really? Okay, yep, there we go. I agree with that. Yeah. I think Meaning of Life is better than Holy Grail. Well, I guess maybe
I just don't actually like Meaning of Life.
Okay, here we go. I like parts of Meaning of Life better than I like Holy Grail. But overall, maybe Holy Grail better. But yeah, Life of Brian is better than both of them.
Yeah.
There we go. I figured it out.
I mean, Life of Brian has a really good ending.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty solid. It's not a cop-out, so it's good.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Unlike those other two movies, both have cop-out endings.
I didn't think Meaning of Life was quite as bad.
I mean, but
Maybe because it was
it's
already so like
it
disjointed.
was obviously going to be a cop-out ending, but it's
Yeah.
still if you're holding a cop-out ending against them, like it's definitely is one.
I mean, but yeah, yeah.
I didn't like that fat guy bit.
I liked it the first time, and then in like subsequent watchings, I was like, it's not even like the. It's not even like the exploding or whatever. Like,
It's just gross.
it's just gross. Like, this is disgusting. Like, this is how I think of
Yeah.
some people. Like, I don't need to see this. Ugh.
Also, I was kind of like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I'm fine with the cop out ending just because I feel like there's no good ending to the quest for the Holy Grail anyway.
Fair enough.
Like as a myth, so I was okay with that in that movie. As a kid, I just thought the Black Knight was the funniest bit.
That's fair.
'Cause he keeps
I can
getting
see
limbs
that.
cut
Yeah.
off. But look, I was too busy quoting The Simpsons to quote Holy Grail. I'll say.
That's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing. I think the worst scene in that film is the Knights Who Say Knee.
It's not great.
It's
It's
not,
not a
even
great
like
scene.
it's not great, but then like people quote it too much,
Yeah.
like way more than they should. But then on top of that, they do the stupid fucking voice. So then it's like, I mean, maybe just kill me instead of quoting like, I just roll up and stab me instead of trying to quote this scene. Like,
Yeah, that would probably be preferable.
like, and when it's never just one person. It's never just one person. Someone else has to overhear that he got a whole group of people just going knee in this stupid voice, and I can't I can't do it. I just leave. I've actually just had to walk away from like someone I was having a conversation at least once, one time.
I mean,
Could very
they've demonstrated
specifically-
that they're no longer a person who can have a conversation. It's just like, oh, you've surrendered your personhood.
your person. Yep.
It's just you surrendered it, so I guess I no longer have any respect for you. It's what happens when people make too many Monty Python jokes.
But if someone rolled up to me and called me a Kansas City faggot, like, hello, good sir.
You might have I might have words. Like what? I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't. I'd be delighted
Out of
if
context.
someone would just call me a Kansas City faggot. I'd be delighted. What other like? I mean, if someone decides to throw in a different city, suddenly I'm worried because now maybe they're actually homophobic. Mm-hmm. Like if someone rolled up and called me a San Francisco faggot. Now we're bordering on offensive. But Kansas City specifically, I think we're good. I think we're fine.
All right, keep that in mind.
In the event that someone,
I'll write that down.
things to not be offended by. Kansas City faggots. I'm trying to, yeah. I guess we haven't talked about Men in Tights much. That was a film.
Yeah, I just don't remember Men in Tights that well. I will say.
I think the only, it has not been a long time since I've watched it. I think the bit that sticks out most in my mind is like the like Robin Hood's Men or whatever. It's just like a bunch of black guys rapping. Well, that was pretty good because it was unexpected as all hell.
Yeah, that's also just one where I don't have as strong an attachment to
Yeah,
the Robin Hood movies.
Yeah, I mean the Kevin Costner one is okay.
Yeah.
What? It had Morgan Freeman.
No,
Okay.
Kevin Costner movies in general.
You don't like Dances with Wolves? You didn't like 4 Hours of Dances with Wolves?
Not a fan.
What's wrong with you?
I mean, it's not his worst movie, but
Okay, what's his worst movie then? Hit me.
I don't know. The Postman? I'm not sure.
I don't even know what it is. That must mean it's bad because I only know good movies.
He made a lot of movies.
I know.
There are movies of his that people say are garbage that I'm okay with. I'll also say, like, I don't fucking. Waterworld's not great, but I'll watch Waterworld, I guess. I don't know. I don't know that I need to watch Waterworld again, but Waterworld was fine. It had a good villain. He drank his own pee. It happens.
I mean, why does that make him a villain? That just sounds like Bear Grylls.
No. Kevin Costner drank his own pee.
Oh. In the film or during the filming?
In the film.
Okay. Just
I think he has like a filtration system on his boat.
Oh, okay. That makes it better.
Dennis Hopper is the villain, and Dennis Hopper is always a good villain. He gets his eye blown out, and then he has a really bad, ugly fake eye. It looks like shit. It does look like shit.
There is one other Mel Brooks film that I've seen, and I can't fucking recall the name of it. But let's check the Blu-ray collection because it's on there. High Anxiety.
Silent movie?
No. I don't think so. Oh, To Be or Not to Be. Remake of the 1942 classic black comedy about two Polish actors whose dramatic skills are put to the test when they become involved with invading Nazi troops.
Yeah, he didn't direct that one.
Did he not?
No, he produced it and he's in it. He stars in it. But he didn't
I
direct
know
it.
he starred in it. Okay.
Yeah. Alan Johnson directed it.
I thought it was okay. Like, I'd see elements of it that were that felt like Mel Brooks, but I mean, I didn't remember the name of it, so that should really say enough.
Yeah, that's fair. That checks out.
I guess the other films on that collection while I'm looking at it: High Anxiety, Silent Movie, and 12 Chairs.
Yeah, he directed all of those.
Yeah. Someday, if I ever find it again, under a chair, somewhere, I it's kind of depressing.
Under a chair somewhere.
I'm like looking at my the recliner next to me. I'm like, I mean, it's not infeasible. I guess I never actually looked under there. Like
You
under the couch.
lift up a magic card and it was under. It like just appears.
Oh, I mean, okay. I mean, it's not the most impossible thing, but like the Star Wars Blu-ray collection is roughly the same size. So
You open up your Star Wars Blu-ray collection and the Mel Brooks one is in there.
I mean, I would not be disappointed. If I really wanted to watch Star Wars, I might be a little upset, but I wouldn't be truly disappointed. Because now I can watch Blazing Saddles again. I was gonna start with Phantom Menace, but like Blazing Saddles, here we go.
I mean, that's a much better movie.
What?
Blazing
How
Saddles
can you
much
say that?
better than Phantom Menace?
In what way?
In every way.
But think of all the lines we got from Phantom Menace. The negotiations will be short.
Yippee!
Yippee! It's working. That was a great one.
Come on! Work isn't actually from the movie. I think that's just from the Pod Racer game.
No, it's working.
Yeah, no. In the game, he
Okay.
says, I think he says, come on, work.
Okay.
Or maybe that was just the way we changed it to make it better than what it actually was.
Who
That could be
knows?
too.
I mean,
You know how that
There
goes.
was a time Jar Jar said Misa. That was pretty classic.
I think my favorite dumb lines are, a lot of them are from fucking episode 3. Because the Emperor is my favorite in the prequels.
That's fair. That is totally fair. I mean, there's Watto. Episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't like a
Yup.
caricature? Who doesn't like a super offensive caricature in their Star Wars cinema?
I like it when it's a joke and not just being presented straight as like character I have to deal with now.
You know, they're making Solo. They're making Kenobi. When's Watto?
Look, I watched Phantom Menace and I went, oh, Star Wars is not in good hands. We're not in good hands with George Lucas. These are bad hands.
I don't feel comfortable.
I no longer feel safe. This is not okay.
But if Mel Brooks had directed Star Wars Episode 1, just
It would have been
imagine.
very different.
It would have been great. There's an idea. What if Mel Brooks had directed Phantom Menace? What would Jar Jar be?
Probably still wouldn't have been great. But
I mean,
it would have just been a dude in blackface.
oh no. Yeah.
You have to, at that point, you just have to turn it up.
Yes.
The only,
Just take it to fucking 11.
it's the only thing left to do. You have to either not do it, or you have to completely
it's
turn it up. There are no other options for humor. Limits were reached.
that's a true enough statement.
Yeah. I think that's a podcast.
That was a podcast. Not necessarily about Mel Brooks, but like,
You know,
it was a good base.
look, no promises about us staying on topic every time.
No. You can't.
Only promise is that we'll probably talk about Star Wars at some point. So,
yeah, like
so you
that's
can
literally
email-
the only the consistency of Salt Circle. Can't guarantee that we'll stay on topic. We can guarantee that Star Wars is liable to exist in any episode at any time.
Yeah. You can email us at saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on soundcloud.com/saltcircle and on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, various podcasting places that pull from there. Salt Circle Podcast. On Twitter at SaltCirclePod, and I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
And I'm on Twitter at bean_LP. Good luck!